Queen rock star Freddie Mercury's final months before death from AIDS 30 years ago. 2 documentary Freddie Mercury, The Final Act features friends and family of the Queen rock star speaking about his battle with AIDS, how he came out as gay and his 1991 death. Freddie Mercury in the video for his song These Are the Days of Our Lives. Image, copyright unknown by Sarah Robertson. 18:10, 13th of November 2021. Updated 18:15, November 13, 2021. Comments fresh from their European tour in 1986. Queen were the biggest rock band in the world. Singer Freddie Mercury was every inch the showman, commanding a huge audience of 130,000 at Knebworth Park on August 9 with his electrifying presence and voice. Footage shows the flamboyant star telling the crowd, "We'll stay together until we well die." But sadly it was to be his final concert with Queen. Freddie died on November 24, 1991 due to complications from AIDS, aged 45. A new BBC Two documentary, Freddie Mercury, The Final Act, will mark the 30th anniversary of the singer's death. His bandmates Brian May and Roger Taylor claim they knew something was amiss straight away when, after their epic Knebworth gig, Freddie suddenly announced he would no longer perform live. Brian says, "Freddie opened up his heart and gave it everything he had. We'd done the biggest tour of our lives and it had been a great success, and Freddie said, 'I can't do this anymore.'" Roger tells how the 1986 tour had been a high point for the band. He says, "Freddie was fairly firm that he didn't want to do any more live shows, which sort of told us there was something wrong." Peter Freestone, Freddie's PA, added, "After Knebworth, he just felt it was taking a lot out of him, more than normal." The BBC film, by James Rogan, also features interviews with Brian's wife Anita Dobson, Freddie's sister Kashmira Bulsara and singer Lisa Stansfield, who took part in a 1992 tribute concert for Freddie. Brian recalls that the star, whose birth name was Farrokh Bulsara, struggled to come out, both to himself and the band. He says, "I was very close to Freddie in the beginning and I used to share rooms with him on tour, so there isn't a lot I don't know about Freddie. He was very shy, very uncertain of himself and his sexuality, for sure. I think there was a period where he felt we might disapprove and the rest of the world might disapprove, so he struggled with it. I know he did, and eventually he was able to pluck up his courage and just be who he wanted to be." The Enemy asked him in about 1978, "Are you gay?" And he said, "As a daffodil, dear." Now that is not a man denying his sexuality, but the funny thing is, people didn't really hear it. Looking back on that period, singer Lisa says, "Freddie Mercury was a raving Queen and he wouldn't mind anybody saying it. It was quite amazing that most people didn't even think Freddie Mercury was gay." And Freddie's friend, journalist David Wigg, says, "He didn't want to go into big discussions about his private life, but when he did talk about it to me, he said, 'What I am is all in the songs.' Once he came out, he went wild." But the most important thing with Freddie was that the way he expressed himself. You couldn't help but realize he was always searching for somebody to love. In 1987, Freddie flew to Ibiza for his birthday. In a tape recording made by David, Freddie can be heard saying the AIDS epidemic made him almost become a nun. He told David, "I thought sex was very important to me and I lived through sex and everything and I've just gone completely the other way. It's just frightened me to death and I just stopped having sex. I don't miss it, I really don't." At the end of the interview, David asked him outright if he had HIV, and Freddie confessed, "I'm going to fight it. We're going to find a cure." The first AIDS deaths were reported in 1981 and, within a decade, it had become a global epidemic. More than 10 million people were infected, and 90% of them would go on to die. The film also hears firsthand from those who experienced the devastating impact of AIDS during those years, including human rights campaigner Peter Tetchell. Initially, Freddie's bandmates, friends and family were kept in the dark about his tragic diagnosis. The star's sister Kashmira recalls, "My mom visited more times than Dad, and she rang me one day and said, 'I think you should ring your brother as he's very, very ill.' I just said to him, 'It's not AIDS, is it?' and he completely denied it. But I knew that it was." As Freddie's health gradually deteriorated, the band set out to fight the stigma attached to AIDS and homosexuality. Queen told how during a tour in the US in 1984, an American TV channel switched off the music video for "I Want to Break Free," which saw the band wearing women's clothing, as they felt it was promoting cross-dressing. Brian says, "They really had this attitude of, 'We cannot be seen to support this kind of thing.' It makes you laugh now, but it made them drop the record." And at home, former Labour politician David Blunkett branded Freddie's lifestyle unacceptable, while the magician Paul Daniels was unsympathetic on a breakfast TV show the day after Freddie died. Brian recalls, "There was this talk of, well, you know, he was gay, he kind of deserved it, he lived this kind of promiscuous lifestyle, it was going to happen. We thought, oh my God, you people have no idea of what his disease really is, and obviously no feeling about the morality of what you're saying. We decided we were not going to let Freddie be perceived as a victim." The year after Freddie's death, the band organised a tribute concert for more than 70,000 fans in London. Sir Elton John, David Bowie, George Michael and Def Leppard were among the big names that took to the stage at Wembley on April 20, 1992. And Queen's final album, Made in Heaven, which was released in 1995, features the last songs Freddie wrote. Brian recalls how Freddie downed shots of vodka to help mask his pain before recording his vocals. He says, "He wasn't in a great state. He was finding it hard to walk, even finding it hard to sit because he was in a lot of pain. I played him the stuff, 'The show must go on,' and he said, 'It's brilliant. I laugh, go for it. Bring me the vodka.' I brought him the vodka and he pours himself a shot, knocks it down and then props himself up, pours another one, knocks another vodka back and says, 'Okay, go for it', and he went for it. Those notes came out of him. I don't know where they came from. Those are very high notes even for Freddie, who had an operatic section to his voice. His voice has that high, wonderful edge that Freddie's voice always has, but it has this different kind of timbre underneath. You can hear it." The last word on the BBC documentary goes to Freddie's sister, as Queen's haunting track A Winter's Tale plays out. Kashmira says, although his body was failing him, his voice was so strong. It must have been hard when you know you are going to die. How do you cope with that? By writing a lovely song, and it is lovely. He has left this legacy for us all. Freddie Mercury, The Final Act is on BBC Two on Sunday, November 27. It will also be on BBC iPlayer. Follow Mirror Facebook Twitter comment.